So we have some exciting news for Wintersun fans. This video is obviously for the metalheads. Hope you guys are having a great week. Hope you're listening to some great music, maybe playing some great instruments. So Wintersun obviously released their information that they're going to be coming out with Time 2. Now everybody's been waiting for Time 2. I know I have. And I kind of lost touch with Wintersun over the last couple of years. Haven't really been keeping up with them as much. But as soon as I saw some of the blabbermouth articles about the release date for Time 2 at last, after 12 years, is going to allegedly be August 30th of this year, 2024. So we're going to talk a little bit about Time 2, what it sort of sounds like already based on the promotional samples and demos that we've sort of been getting, some of the ideas of what Time 2 might possibly sound like. Obviously, it's the follow-up to Time 1. Now, Wintersun has not been completely dormant since Time 1. In 2017, they actually released the Forest Seasons, which was a phenomenal album. In my opinion, one of the best Wintersun albums to date. But a lot of their fans, well, at least most of their fans, all of their fans, the entire metal community has been waiting desperately to hear and experience Time 2. Wintersun is an interesting band because they've had some controversy just surrounding the fact that they do a lot of crowdfunding and the fact that Yari Mayimpa takes so long to make albums. You know, even some of the guys in NC Ferrum were like, we don't know what's holding Yari back. We really hope that everybody will get Time 2 at some point in time. So we finally reached, we've only got less than 2 months to go really till we get the full version of Time 2. And I'd be interested to hear in the comment section what you all think it's going to sound like. I think we can get a rough idea because Wintersun has done some really, awesome and generous promotional videos, pretty much giving us a track-by-track breakdown, maybe like, 10, 15 seconds of each song. There's only going to be 6 songs, I believe. So, and that's usually what you get with Wintersun is really epic albums that are short in song length, but obviously in the length of the actual song is not short by any means. They don't have a lot of songs is what I'm saying. But the trajectory, the time span of each song is, equivalent to 3 or 4 songs. So we know that Time 2 is going to be epic. We know it's going to be great. I could pull up some of the articles here, but I don't want to just sit here on camera and read because, I want to talk about and speculate a little bit about what the album's going to be like. Obviously, there is going to be somewhat of an Asian influence. We can hear that in the music. We can see that on the cover of the album, or what's alleged to be the cover of the album. So maybe the album cover is going to be slightly different. Maybe Yari hasn't even decided yet. So going back to, obviously, to 2012 when Time 1 was released, that was, obviously a legendary album for Wintersun. I believe it's their second album. And then obviously we had the Forest Seasons from 2017, and now we're hopefully going to be getting Time 2 at the end of August. Now, what's sort of controversial perhaps about Wintersun is the fact that Yari takes so long to make albums. The whole band takes so long to make albums. What's actually holding them back from being more prolific than they could be? Well, I think if you actually listen to Wintersun's albums, you'll definitely get a sense of why they're just not pumping out records like, I don't know, Cannibal Corpse perhaps, or Metallica or whoever. I mean, there's a lot of great metal bands that are prolific, like Serenia, for example. You guys should go check out our retrospective of what happened to Serenia. And if the more prolific the band, all the power to them. But also, we've been talking a lot about Nightwish, who is not particularly prolific. They're sort of in that vein of Wintersun, where they take a really darn long time to make albums. Not quite as long as Wintersun or, Yari Mayimpa, but it's just fascinating that some of these bands just have the gumption and the inspiration just to take 12 years like Yari Mayimpa has taken to make the follow-up for Time 1. And, you can really just be inspired, in awe of how inspiring the vision, the lyrical and artistic and musical direction is going to be for Time 2, and just sort of within how that album is going to sit and sort of flourish within the Wintersun universe. I think it's going to be a fantastic album. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And I believe that it's going to be just great for Finnish metal in general, for the metal community in general. I know a lot of y'all have been waiting for Time 2, have been waiting for a new release from Wintersun. We haven't seen anything from Wintersun since 2017's Forest Season, as I said. But having said all those great things, they have come under some scrutiny, perhaps for the crowdfunding, for sort of relying a little bit too much on their fan base to sort of get their albums together, get their recordings made, get merch out there. And regardless of whether as a fan it's no different than buying an album or going to see a show, but I think it sort of crosses into the line of sort of like e-begging or, I guess we could just say crowdfunding when the band is actually asking or proposing that their fans and their listeners sort of help them record the album. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's probably not something I would do, but hell, it's really expensive to go to recording studios. It's really expensive to hire engineers. It's really expensive to hire, guest vocalists and musicians and programmers, and it's just real. Music is a very, very expensive endeavor. So it's not out of the realm of morality to have crowdfunding. So it's not a brand new phenomenon, but I think Yari Mayampa in particular has just really sort of spearheaded this idea, this movement of sort of relying or collaborating, I guess, in a sense, with the fans to sort of make bigger and better albums. And I think, although I don't really have an issue with it in terms of, morality or the ethics behind it, I do think that it's holding Wintersun back because they're relying so much on that crowdfunding that they're not actually maybe putting in the hard work perhaps, or raising their own money to sort of, get these albums out in a more timely fashion. But maybe Wintersun and their fans are just under this mutual understanding that that's just how it is, and it's going to take a really long time for Wintersun to make albums. And I think their fans kind of get that. It's obviously sort of, there's a lot of humor going on, or that has been going on in the metal community for years about Yari, begging for money and crowdfunding and this and that. And, so it's just, they're an interesting sort of force to be reckoned with in the metal community because, yes, they do a lot of crowdfunding. They do rely on their fans and their listeners to sort of continue the legacy of Wintersun. I could never see Nightwish doing a crowdfunding campaign. Obviously, you're not going to see Metallica doing a crowdfunding campaign. I don't think, we would ever see NC Ferrum doing a crowdfunding campaign. But for some reason, it's kind of the niche that Wintersun has fallen into, and I guess for them it kind of works. Like I said, I tend to think it's a little bit distasteful personally, but I guess they have their reasons for it, and it's taken them 12 years to make Time 2, almost 9 years since the 4 seasons. But yeah, it's been nearly 9 years since the release that came in between Time 1 and Time 2, and I can't help but YouTube channel and the end of August and be like, I have some terrible news for all the Wintersun fans that we do not have enough money, we do not have enough crowdfunding to make Time 2 a reality. We are going to have to ask for more money. I'm just really, really hoping that that's not going to happen. But in the universe of Wintersun, you just never know what's going to happen. And maybe, with the promise of Time 2 at the end of August, maybe eventually we'll see Time 3 or whatever, direction Wintersun decides to take musically and sort of artistically with their vision. And I think Time 2 is going to solidify a lot of the sort of the Wintersun's worldview creatively, but I also think it's going to expound on that. It does seem like it's heavily reliant on nature and winter and that whole sort of melancholic aesthetic that Yadi Mayampa and the Wintersun gentlemen have sort of created over the course of time. But obviously they're adding new influences. A lot of the lyrics or the imagery is going to be taking place in Asia, maybe perhaps Japan. There's obviously some type of Asian influence, Oriental influence, regardless of what Asian country it comes from, which I think is really interesting. I've never really quite, ever really heard that in metal. Maybe there's some bands. Let me know if you guys have heard of some metal bands apart from Asian metal bands, obviously, that are maybe have some Asian folk music influences in their music. I'm really looking forward to seeing how sort of the melancholic nature aspect of Wintersun combined with maybe, I guess we could loosely say, the pagan influence of Wintersun, because in a lot of ways they do sort of have a pagan vibe. They're not like a pagan war metal band like NC Farron perhaps, but they do have sort of the worship of nature, standing in awe in the beauty of nature, and obviously worshiping winter, or just sort of being so heavily influenced on winter and the change of seasons on an emotional level has always been there with Wintersun. So I think it's going to be wonderful to see how sort of those aspects of nature, paganism, and I use that term loosely, and obviously the sort of the folk acoustic influences that come up in Wintersun, and obviously the metal aspect of Wintersun, which is the driving force behind Wintersun. But what's taken Yari Mayimpa so long to make Time 2? One can only speculate, but I'm really looking forward to hearing what this album is going to be like. And yeah, obviously the news of the release is brand new, but obviously everybody the last 3 to 4 months, Wintersun has sort of been teasing the eventual release date of this new Time 2 album. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you guys will stay tuned for the next series of videos. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Please share this video. I would really appreciate it. We've been doing some family vlogs and some live streams, but I am starting with this video today. We are getting back to sort of the in-studio music commentary format. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. We'll probably make some vlogs, every so often in a blue moon in between if I do something funny or exciting or epic. But I'm really looking forward to getting back to this music documentary series. So let me know your thoughts and comments about Time 2, and we'll see you all in the next video.